Hey everybody, welcome to another video review. So this is a special day just because I recently put together a couple of new offerings from the Predator Grandmaster painter, Joe Dunaway. It's always sort of like Christmas morning whenever I get a painted Predator kit from Joe, because I've been a really, really big fan and supporter of his work for a long time. I think getting close to a decade. And as I make more, videos of his work, you'll hear me sort of gush and sort of compliment and go fanboy on his stuff over and over again. And I apologize if it's tiresome, but I do believe, again, in giving credit where credit is due. And hopefully, as I showcase his work, you'll bear with me, because you'll be seeing what I'm seeing, and you'll appreciate the extraordinary talent that goes into it. He's been doing this a long, long time. Painting garage kits professionally, Predator kits, etc. It's not like this has been going on for 50, 60 years, and it's been going on for a while, but a lot of this is still sort of, was still very young in its infancy, and you're seeing sort of this explosion in statues and size and complexity, professional, custom. And he's been around from the very beginning, sort of, putting his stamp on this. And for my money, he is still one of the best Predator painters out there. And there are guys out there who do, great work. No question about it. I'm sure there are people I haven't even heard of who do amazing work. But it's just sort of about preference, and sometimes a style just sort of really captures a collector's imagination, or you just really like that particular style. And for me personally, there's just something about the way Joe does his airbrushing, the way he does the details of the pieces, that for me, is second to none. And so your tastes may differ. I don't think it's debatable he's one of the best in the world. Is he the very, very best? I think that's just like, what's your favorite movie, your favorite food? I think different people, different collectors will have different tastes. So your number one may change, but I think, no, definitely he is one of the best. And the more you see of his work, which again, sadly, there's not a whole lot of YouTube videos out there truly showing his work. He has a gallery, modelzone.com, that he showcases and takes pictures, and his pictures are very, very good. But I think seeing the piece dynamically in lighting and a video is also something else completely. So let's talk about this piece. This is the first one. I'm going to go for a close-up. So this is the Elder Predator from Predator 2. It's 1/6 scale. I really like, by the way, this scale. So many statues in general, and then of course Predators are so big. Sideshows, quarter scale maquettes, gigantic in the 24 to 30 inch range, and then Prime One coming out with their stuff, just ridiculous stuff. Half size, half scale, third scale, 3 feet plus. I hope to prove to you that with these reviews, that you can have pieces, especially painted by the right person. It still destroys any piece that comes out, size notwithstanding. Don't get a 3.5 foot tall piece that weighs 60 pounds. In my opinion, it is not superior to something like this with the detail that we're looking at. You can pack a lot of beauty and a lot of detail in a 1/6 scale, say 14 inch piece. You save a lot of room, and you can still appreciate a lot of that art, a lot of that beauty. Again, if you have somebody as good as a Joe Dunaway painting it up. So this is the Elder from Predator 2. Those of you who know the movie know of that which I speak. This is an Elder Predator, one of the chiefs of the tribe, so to speak. And this particular kit is sort of lost in the fogs of time, the shadows of the past, so to speak. I think it's S. Hayes. Now, I don't know whether S. Hayes is the sculptor or the brand. You have to do a little bit of checking. These are very old kits, which if you're building them or you're seeing them in person, you can appreciate. And I think it's like the super edge, or Spencer Hayes or S. Hayes. It's all kind of a mixed, terminology for me. But this is way back. I mean, I'm guessing maybe 10 years, 15 years ago. One of the first, kind of great line of Predator kits. And this company and this sculptor, I think did like 5 or 6. And now they're all out of print, very, very, very highly sought after. And even the unpainted kits go for a couple $100s. These are rare. And this predates Naren. Okay, so again, if you study garage kit history, you study Predator garage kit history, you'll know that the king, the name that sort of it begins, it's the middle and the end of the story when it comes to Predator kits, is Naren from Thailand. He has just put together such an amazing body of work, and you're going to see another entry from Naren in a later video. But he's really put a stamp, on sort of the custom Predator market, the extended universe, so to speak. Predator collection, so imaginative, so much detail. This series by, again, S. Hayes, this line predates Naren. And it shows you that even though I love Naren, these guys have nothing to be ashamed about. I mean, they put together some pretty amazing stuff with mind-blowing sculpt, mind-blowing detail as well. And when, Hayes retired, then Naren sort of took the baton and came and continued. And who is going to succeed Naren now that he is getting older? I don't know. There's nothing that I see here. And maybe everything's going licensed now. XM, Prime One, Cool Props, etc. And is there room now for the type of work that S. Hayes and Naren, sort of became famous doing? We don't know. We'll have to see. But I can tell you that while I appreciate some of the great, huge pieces of the P1 and the P2 by the official licensed companies, they're good, but I don't see them sort of matching this level of detail, this level of beauty. I just don't. So the challenge is still there, and this is from the past 15 years. So this is called The Stranger. That's the name of the kit, and it's of course inspired by the very end of Predator 2, when many Predators come out after Danny Glover's character defeated the city hunter, so to speak. And so he comes out. There's a lot of little details that you can appreciate. So we'll start with the base. This is a marvelous base. You can see the P2 bio helmet on the ground, as well as his disc. Very, very nicely, again, very, very nicely detailed and very film accurate. You can see the base is sort of a proximity of maybe, the floor of, I think, of the sewer, where Danny Glover and the P2 are fighting. It might even be on the ship, actually. And what spawned the Predator versus Alien AVP group of movies was there was this little tiny, how can I say it, throwaway background where you saw an alien skull on the wall of the trophies of the ship where the Predators come in, and one of them was, of course, an alien skull. And that's kind of what started this whole thing. And so as a homage to that, they sculpted this amazingly detailed skull. Hopefully I can get a little bit close up. You can kind of see the detail here. Unfortunately, the shadow, because of the overhead lights, dims it. But, you can take a look here. Just beautifully detailed by Dunaway. Okay, and then the teeth here, painted beautifully chrome. And of course, you can see the undersurface with a slight hint of green and the eye core and the guts. And you can see, of course, here the various tentacles, the detail here, very, very nice. Here's the biohelm from the background. And then, of course, let's slowly go up. You can see the gunmetal effects. Joe Dunaway is famous in a way for that. Nobody paints metal like he does. You look at this and the weathering, you will swear this was real metal. So again, pretty amazing. Again, look at the detail even at the feet, all the little tiny camouflage marks, the speckles, the dots, and then nicely glossed nails. Moving back up, you can see the netting here. Okay, this is all sculpted, by the way, so that is pretty insane. It's not real netting, it's sculpted in, so that had to be all individually painted all the way up. Again, look at the depth of the airbrush work. You know, like I said before, every one of Joe's pieces pops. You see them, and it's on the pictures, it's on this video, but when you see it in person, it just seems to be like this, almost like extra real. Definitely feels like it just takes up more space, you know. And there's very few works that I see that has that level of pop that Joe has, that Joe brings to it. So he's been, you know, using, in addition, very cunningly, in addition to the pegs and things that put this together, he also uses magnets, so very, very nice. Again, here's the waist. Here's the flintlock pistol that he gives to Danny Glover. So that's right there. And Joe has actually made a lot of modifications as well, added a little bit of plussing. This is usually reserved for Walt Disney Classics collection pieces. And by plussing, we mean that, you know, in addition to just sort of doing the regular work, he always finds a way to add a little extra detail, a little bit of extra plussing, so to speak, right? He plusses it to make it unique for every person who commissions him. And that's, again, kind of what makes it special. So in this case, you know, has some of the little decorations right over here. And then if we move around on the other surface, you can see some of the bones that he's placed next to the bag. Those are new as well. Look at the rust and the weathering of the sword blade, and then the detail of, again, his hands. You can see the colorations there, the bone, the weathered gauntlet, the tiny hints of red that showcase, again, you know, his version of the thermonuclear device. Every little detail just is put out there. Nothing escapes his eye when he's doing this. All with the airbrush, all the little tiny detail, the handle. Take a look at that. You know, the flintlock of the pistol. Beautiful work. The bones. So here, again, showing you the age of the kit. These things are not free-flowing. They're actually, again, part of the sculpt. Everything's all sculpted. None of this is mixed media, so to speak. And then here he is holding, you know, the necklace like he does from the movie. Just sort of slowly turning him around. Again, so you can appreciate all of the detail that goes into this. Again, this is crazy because, you know, back then they didn't have that sophistication for doing mixed media. This is, again, 15 years ago, you know, 10, 15 years ago. So all of this is sculpted. Even though it looks like leather, it's not. It's sculpted. Here's the dreads. And all of the beads, all individually painted by Joe. And then, of course, the backpack with the little tubes. All these extra tubes here are added. Again, looks like metal, like perfectly like metal. Here's the gun, the cannon in position. And, of course, the money shot, the amazing work on the actual face and the head. Remember, guys, this is not life-size, quarter scale. This is 6th scale. You know, here's the little ring to the tusks that he added. Sculpted all of this extra crown details. And then he put in all of the quills, of course. And at this scale, you know, it's just, again, breathtaking work. Just think about how long it must have taken to do all of the sculptural additions, the plussing, and then to go over the paint like the way he normally does. Just a fantastic work overall. Now, one thing that S. Hayes does lose a little bit on is the fidelity and the detail of the dreads. Of course, Naren's typically, you know, he does each dread individually, which does look quite a bit better. And here, as you can see, it's just kind of sculpted into it. This is something, again, that the life-size versions, like the Cool Props life-size P1 and P2 also has a bit of an issue with that. Just kind of shows the age a little bit. Here again, hopefully you can appreciate the crown and all the details that go into that crown. The beautiful fangs, his eyes. Look at that. How good is that? And then again, backing up. Let's go midway and then slowly turn him. And so it just all comes together, and just such an incredible kind of, not just an incredible kit, but the paint job and everything. You know, this is something you just don't see 2019 anymore. A lot of these were either destroyed or private collections, long sold out. So I hope Joe sort of enjoyed painting this one. He told me that he was looking forward to it, just mainly because it's such a old, rare kit that he hasn't had a chance to, you know, he did a few in his heyday many, many years ago. So he said he just really looked forward to the challenge of doing one again, making it better, sort of bringing back memories of, you know, where he was, how young he was when he did it. And just looking forward to just doing a better job, you know, he said, compared to what he was like after a decade of, you know, doing so many Predator paint-ups. And I think you'll agree that it definitely shows. Against that black background, it just pops. And that's something that's very unique to his work. I can recognize a Joe Dunaway paint job from a mile away, but that's probably because I own so many of his pieces. Probably 30 plus in total, maybe more. So there you have it. This is the Stranger, an elder predator from the movie P2, Predator 2, The City Hunter. You can kind of see it all in its glory. And again, you know, he's been so busy with official work, with custom work. I don't know if he's even taking new clients anymore just because of his long client list. I think, you know, I still have a, you know, that relationship with him because I've just been with him for so long. Like, you know, doing projects with him and commissioning him for over 10 years. So I'm fortunate that, you know, I still have that ability to commission because he's just so busy. But again, every time I get a piece from him, it's always special. It's always a work of art, and I hope you can appreciate that just again from looking from different perspectives, different viewpoints, different lengths, from the super macro to the medium shot to the far away shot. We get the whole body. And then of course down the base you can sort of get an idea, hopefully get an idea of the insane amount of detail that, you know, he brings to his paint jobs to bring them alive. You know, if you're able to get a Joe Dunaway Predator paint up in your collection, that's something you should try to get. It's a legacy piece, and one you'll never regret commissioning. Definitely is a highlight of any kit collection, of any Predator collection, one of his pieces. It is absolutely worth the wait, worth the cost. All right, here you go. I think from this angle you can see the skull a little bit better, some of the details of the green that he's placed there. Remarkable. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that, and until next time, do take care.